Hi everyone, my name is Mia. I'm a product marketing manager at Atlassian, and today I'm really excited to be here at the Lit Careers Reimagined event. But also wanted to take the time to share with you exactly what is product marketing and how I was able to build my career in tech. And today I really just want one thing to stick with you that can help you in your career, wherever you're at right now. So let's jump right into what you can expect in the agenda. So first I'll share a little bit about me and my career path. Then I'll jump into my career journey and then followed by what is product marketing and lessons that I've learned throughout the different career transitions that I've had and how I've helped to build those product marketing skills to set myself apart from others. And then we'll round it out with some of the other things that I've learned and how to break into tech and how you can do the same thing in your career. So I know that there's a handful of people in this webinar right now, so let's make this as interactive as possible, right? So let's throw your questions in the chat during the session. I'm happy to jump in and answer them throughout so we can make it as engaging as possible, but feel free to just bubble up those questions and introduce yourself in the chat as well. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and jump into the presentation here. So a little bit about me. I graduated from California State University, Fresno with a mass communication degree. And what I learned as a mass communication major is that I've learned how to communicate effectively to like a large audience. And this is something that I've taken with me throughout my career. During college, I actually interned for a media agency called JP Marketing, and this was an opportunity to really learn about media strategy and planning. And it actually turned into a full-time role once I graduated from Fresno State. At JP Marketing, I was a media strategist and planner and focused on small and mid-sized businesses. And then I actually moved to Los Angeles in 2017 and worked at a media company called Horizon Media. I worked on an account called Constellation Wine and Spirits as a brand strategist, and this is where I planned and executed global campaigns. So I was moving up from small and mid-sized businesses and helped build a lot of traditional and digital media plans. And this is where I really got to understand how to communicate to that larger audience, like I was learning in college, and help learn how to also build relationships with all these different vendors and clients and customers that we were working with. And then the past 4 years, I actually transitioned from the agency life into tech and joined VMware as a digital marketing strategist and have led our social media strategy for our largest company conference. And for the last couple of years, I've worked, or the first couple of years, I worked as a digital marketing strategist, and then I made the transition into product marketing in 2022. And now I currently work as a product marketing manager at Atlassian. And I feel like I couldn't have made the better decision for my career path. And I also have been able to use those skills from college all the way through my agency experience now leading up to this moment in my life where I feel like I'm using all those skills every day to make an impact. All right, so let's actually take a look now into why did I even want to get into product marketing in the first place? Because it seems like I'm kind of all over the place, right? And I know I don't have like a linear career path into product marketing. And I didn't even know what product marketing was in college or when I was working on the agency side. So I didn't even know that this was an option that I could even explore. So some of the skills that I learned in media brand strategy was how to be customer facing and how to use data to really drive a lot of insight within the media plans that I was creating, while also building a lot of those different relationships with our media and communication teams. But the one thing that I really didn't care for on the agency side was we were constantly being asked by clients to do everything that they wanted and needed. And this also put a damper on my creativity skills. And I wanted to be able to write and create more content with more autonomy. So as I was looking at what I wanted to do next in my career, I saw that there was a lot of opportunity in tech by talking to colleagues and friends that I know that had worked at tech companies to be more strategic in planning And I was able to now be more autonomous by taking on projects from start to finish versus just working and delivering stuff that clients wanted. So as I jumped into digital marketing at VMware, I was starting to create content for social media and digital marketing campaigns, and I was working more cross-functionally with product marketers. And this is where I was like, oh, wow, this is an actual role that exists at a company. And I understood now how more marketing campaigns were able to run more holistically. And it gave me a chance to be more strategic and create marketing plans with that freedom and flexibility that I really craved that I wasn't getting working at agencies. So what made me then consider, okay, what am I going to do next after, while I'm in this digital marketing role? And I felt really siloed by being in that sort of career path. And I thought, okay, do I want to do this forever where I'm generating campaign reports and writing copy, or how do I up level my career from here on out? And as I was working with those product marketing managers on those teams and creating the digital campaigns alongside them, that's when I felt like there was a light bulb that went off where I was like, hey, I can do this too, because everything that I'm doing seems really similar to what they're doing. I was creating marketing strategies. I was writing every day. I was using data to tell a story through leveraging insights that I found through that. And I was able to understand my customers. So I thought, okay, why can't I give this a shot? Why is this holding me back right now? And that imposter syndrome feeling was starting to creep in. I thought you have to have an MBA to be in product marketing. I heard it was hard to break in if you didn't have years of experience. And I thought, okay, I'm not cut out for this. This is not meant for me. So I decided to say, okay, let me look at what the job descriptions say for product marketing. And I wrote down everything that I had done in my current and previous roles and saw how much that correlated between what product marketers were doing. And I saw those skills that would help me make that pivot successfully. I was able to understand the customer journey. I had a lot of those writing skills that product marketers use every day. I was able to craft a narrative and a story out of a product or solution that I was working on, whether it was on the client side when I worked at agencies or on those digital marketing campaigns. And in each of those roles, I also knew how to understand data and how it shapes a strategy. So that experience that I had really made me realize that I had what it took to make that transition into product marketing. So some of the things that I did to do that is I began setting up coffee chats internally within VMware with the product marketers that I was working in it with. I told them I wanted to transition into product marketing. This is why, and these are the skills that I have. And one of the product marketers that I worked with said, hey, I have an opening on my team. Why don't you apply? And so I went through the interview. And when I went to the first interview, I came with a small slide deck of how I would plan a go-to-market campaign for their product. And this really set me apart because I went on to finish the interviews and they offered me the job and told me that that was what set me apart from the rest of the folks that were interviewing. So that was my first product marketing role. I also got certified through the Product Marketing Alliance because my boss at the time said this is a great thing to have under your belt, and it's also a great way to network within that community. And then I went on to go work at two more teams at VMware, working on two different products. And then recently, I joined Atlassian as a product marketing manager for our enterprise marketing team focused on our Confluence product. So if that gives you a little bit of teaser into what sort of skills it takes to be a product marketer. But in the next section, I'll kind of walk through what product marketer actually does on a day-to-day basis and what are some of the skills that it takes to stand out from the rest of the pack. So before I kind of jump into that, I see that Evelyn is on the call. So Evelyn, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. But if you would like, I'd like to understand, one, do you know what product marketing actually does? And if you don't, that's totally okay. And that's why we're here today. So just throw in the chat whether you have a strong understanding of it or not. I see there's some more folks on the call, so feel free to throw in yes or no, or you can hop off mute. Okay. And if not, totally fine because we are going to dive right into that today. Because I also had no idea what product marketing was before I joined the product marketing career path. So let's actually jump into that next. Um, so this is one of my favorite slides for a couple reasons. Um, there's a lot of misconceptions around what product marketing actually is and what we do, and it also gets confused with what other teams do. So I wanted to share like this side by side comparison of like some of the most common misconceptions. And the first one is that product marketers are thought to just write blog posts, but really we own all the messaging and positioning across channels. We don't just work on product launches, we also drive adoption and engagement across a whole product lifecycle. So from the moment that customers start using our product, all the way through educating them on how to use new features and product improvements as they get the most out of their investment. And we're not just an assistant to sales teams, we enable sales teams with customer insights and strategy. And we have really close relationships with sales and we help educate them on what the product means to the customer, what value we're providing. And we help share customer feedback that we're receiving through these conversations we have with customers. And it's not that we just like make slide decks and make things like pretty, but really we're turning complex ideas into really compelling narratives. And we help create these go-to-market plans that tell a story with the goal to solve our customers' problems that's tied back to the strategy. And then the other thing is people think that we only talk to internal teams when really we're gathering feedback from the customers in the market all the time. And this can be anything from conducting surveys to hosting win-loss interviews to working with analysts on how our product compares to our competitors in the same market. So all this feedback is really helping these different teams reach their goals and also helps us as product marketers create like a really rich strategy for a product to be successful. And another thing that I also thought before product marketing is that they own all of product marketing when in fact, we're just like a subset within the entire marketing org. So we partner with content, demand gen, and brand teams, but we come with like that product first focus. So we work with these teams on creating the content. The demand gen teams help execute that content, and then our brand teams help create like the overall look and feel of our marketing campaigns. And we don't just come in after the product is launched, but we help influence the roadmap by using what we understand from our customers. So we're really the glue between our product, marketing, sales, and the customer. All right. So let's jump into next. What a product marketing team looks like within an org. So this can be mostly through a tech company, but it might differ depending on what company you're at. So product marketing is really like that key stakeholder between product, engineering, sales, marketing, and business strategy teams. So product and engineering is really focused on how they can create the product roadmap for what that looks like, months and quarters and years out. And as product marketers, we help share what we know about customer insights to help inform that product roadmap. So they're like, hey, we should prioritize this feature because we know customers really care about this. So things like that. We also work with our marketing teams on those demand gen campaigns, helping with branding for product launches and creating content for our media campaigns. The business strategy teams we work with on creating pricing and packaging. So this is like, how much does your product cost? How does that come across? Is this going to be too expensive for the customer based on what we know is like their sticking point? And then we also help understand with the business strategy teams how that product delivers on ROI and how that aligns back to like what business value we're driving with the product. And then finally, we work really closely with the sales teams, as I mentioned. We create all this enablement training and materials, and then we present that to our sales teams, and then they use that to help close their deals and make their quotas and things like that, so that we're really like close partners in that way. Okay. Any initial questions before I kind of jump into the skills to succeed in product marketing, just in case anyone wants to throw them in the chat? I know that this is a lot of information getting thrown at you, but no question is a dumb question. So feel free to jump in if you have any questions. Okay. So the next part that I wanted to really share is, obviously this is like a very standard product marketing sort of role, but there's like four main skills that I've found to be really help you stand out as being successful between, other folks within product marketing. But as you're making a transition from other roles that may not be, a traditional product marketing background, I found these to be the four skills that you need to help succeed. And the first one is storytelling, which sounds a little bit cliche, but what this really means is how do you talk about your product to your customers without sounding like you're telling them that everything is great and that they should just buy it? So really, like you have to learn how to create a narrative based on what your customer's pain point or your issue is. So you have to ask and find out what is something that they're trying to solve and what does that experience look like to them? And this is how your problem can be solved by using our product. So this has to come across as a really organic and authentic way without sounding like you're just telling them to buy your product. And the second one is cross-functional collaboration. So if you're someone that likes to work in groups or with others, product marketing is definitely the right role for you. You're constantly that glue between all those teams that you saw on the previous slide, but others look to you as being the expert about the product, and they want to create that strong relationship with you because they know that you have all this wealth of information, and it's a really great opportunity for you to stand out from the pack. So, building those strong relationships is key to advancing in your role. And then the third one is knowing your customers. And if I had to pick from all the skills on this slide, I think that this one is the most important one to have. And product marketing differs slightly depending on what company you work at, but this skill is really the constant one across all of them. And this means that you need to understand what keeps your customers up at night, what problems they're trying to solve. What does their day-to-day job responsibilities look like, and what tools do they use? What metrics are they being measured against? Things like that. And when you're talking through your marketing messaging, you don't want to talk like you're in an echo chamber and not, know what you're talking about. You want to be able to resonate with your customers and be able to market your product to them. You can then use those insights that you learn about everything about your customer to then work with your product and sales teams to help drive roadmap innovation and also help your sales teams understand the customer better so they can pitch better. And then the final skill is understanding the data. And this is something that as I talk to more colleagues and get more experience in product marketing, really stands out between an average product marketer and a really strong product marketer is knowing how to leverage data to back up your strategies and your planning. Everyone knows that data is gold and that numbers don't lie. So if you can learn how to create reports or synthesize data that can be leveraged into your planning, everyone is going to take notice of that, and that will also help you build your credibility in your career. Okay, so as I kind of transition into the last part of the presentation, I wanted to share about some of the lessons I learned about breaking into tech. And these may not be, groundbreaking lessons, but they're a really good reminder that, if I could do it, you can do it as well. So the first thing that I learned is you don't need a technical background to succeed. The main skills that I've found to be really standing out is curiosity, having strong communication skills, and knowing how to problem solve go such a long way, especially in product marketing. I thought I needed to be technical or have an MBA to work in product marketing. I learned that what really matters is having the ability to connect the dots, to understand people and customers and being able to communicate clearly. And when you're transitioning into a new career, this also gives you a unique edge, right? So you can start building that sort of product marketing mindset and portfolio before you even have that job title. So I found networking is key to helping you get the foot in the door, and every product marketing or job before that, I've found through networking and connecting with people, because people like to work with people that they like, and they like to give you a chance because of that. The second thing that I've learned is starting with your strengths and growing from there. So, as you know now, I didn't start as a product marketing manager, but I use the strengths that I've already had to get really good at where I'm at today. So, I really leaned into what I was already good at, which was I knew how to tell a story through a marketing campaign. I knew how to put together a media strategy, and I knew how to empathize with my customers, and because of that, I learned everything else on the job. So, especially in tech, there's lots of ambiguity. There's problems that people are trying to solve that have never been solved before. For example, today, I got asked a question that I was like, I have no idea how to do this, but I'm going to figure it out. No one else on my team knew how to do it either, but we're all just figuring it out as we go as well. So, while that can be, a good thing, it can also be challenging when you're building as you go. So, learning how to lean into your strengths makes it so much easier when you're tackling those bigger problems and challenges that come your way. And then the last thing is don't wait for permission. You should be able to build or want to build your own experience. So, when I was making the transition into tech, I started posting more on LinkedIn about those skills that lended well into product marketing. I did freelance work. You can also help volunteer to help a startup. Anything that you can do to put into your portfolio that translates into what product marketers do is going to go such a long way and shows that you're willing to roll up your sleeves and do it. And no one's going to give you a roadmap or a single path to get into product marketing. Everyone's looks different. So don't be afraid to ask questions, reach out to people, have coffee chats, network. All that stuff goes such a long way. Okay. So lastly, I wanted to share some of the resources that I found to be very helpful when I was starting off in product marketing. The first one is the Product Marketing Alliance, which is has like a wealth of information. They have certifications, networking groups, in person and online. They have conferences. It's just like I've met so many people through it in person and online, and I've stayed in touch with them, and it's a great networking. Like I would recommend it to anyone that's just interested in what product marketing is in general. I've also gotten a certificate through Cornell's online program, which is really great if you're trying to up level and understand more of the fundamentals of product marketing. So I'd recommend if your company or school can reimburse you for that certificate program, that's also another thing to look into. The Careers Courageous or Courageous Careers newsletter is actually started by another PMM, and she's a great coach for product marketers. So that's a great one to have in your inbox and use it as a way to learn about like a day-to-day experience of being a product marketing. And then finally, Techadia and Latinas in Tech has been a great overall networking experience for anyone looking to break into tech. So they have Slack channels, websites. So I'll throw all of those links actually into the chat here. So you guys have that. Okay. Those are all those resources, and we can follow up to with the on-demand session with some of those links.
Cool.
And then finally, as part of helping others in their career, and as I'm thinking about how I can give back, I wanted to share that I'm accepting two people to mentor that are either considering breaking into product marketing or early on in their career. And we all know how important a mentor is, and sometimes having a mentor doesn't have to be a formal thing, like a formal mentorship program. Like I have plenty of people that I consider a mentor that, have been colleagues in the past or old bosses that I go to for advice or information. But I wanted to give back and offer this as an opportunity to help others build their network and grow in their product marketing career. So I put a QR code here that you can scan. I'll also put this link in the chat as well. It's a quick little form just to fill out your information and take advantage of learning anything that you want from me. And I can help you build your network as well if you're interested in that.
Cool.
So now we have a little bit of time for Q&A. So if anyone wants to either jump off of mute or put their questions in the chat, now's the time to do that.
Mia, I'll go ahead and go first. My question is regarding mentorship. So give me an idea of a mentor that you've had and how they helped you in your career.
Oh, that's a good question. I would say the first boss that I had when I went into my first product marketing role, I still keep in touch with him, and it's been going on 3 years now since we worked together. He saw the potential in me, and he wanted to understand, like, and he didn't care so much about like my educational background or that I didn't have that product marketing experience. He saw the potential in me, and that went a long way for me to feel like I was supported.
Yeah,
And when I joined that role, he said, okay, I have like 3 courses that I recommend you take. I think these are going to help you go really far in your career. So he saw like, he looked at it not as like, you're just here to do a job. He
correct.
wanted to help build me up in my career, you know, as I was getting started. So even to this day, like we'll catch up once a quarter. I'll find out what he's up to.
Yeah,
I'll share more about what I've been up to. And we also stay connected on LinkedIn. So it's really been like a supportive uh, sort of relationship that way.
absolutely. And Mia, how did you go about finding or connecting with your mentor? I mean, obviously you guys worked at the same place, but how did the relationship form? You said it can be informal, it can be formal. I mean, how does that happen? I mean, do you guys say, "Hey, I want to mentor you," or did you ask, or how does that work?
Yeah, I it wasn't like a formal
Correct.
ask. I need you to be my mentor. I would like you to be
Yeah,
my mentor. But it felt like it was more organic where
gotcha.
he said, "Hey, like, I see the potential in you. I want to make sure that you feel supported in your career. Like, let's have our one-on-ones, our regular one-on-ones. Let's talk about where you see yourself in your career, 6 months to a year out." So
Mhm.
the conversations were more crafted around like, I know this is what you do in your day to day, but this is also what I want to focus on when I talk to you around like career aspirations and things like that. So I see that as being like really valuable in finding like bosses that you work with, like understanding that they see that
Yeah,
as, you know, something to really consider and look at.
gotcha. Very cool. All right. Anybody else in the audience want to ask a question, guys? Go ahead and unmute yourself or go ahead and submit it in the chat. It's up to you. Denise, I see you unmuting your phone. Did you have a question or not? Let me know. I'll be happy to. If you guys don't, I want to ask one more question here. There you go, from Natalie.
How did you find the alliances and resources? So my first boss was the one that told me about the product marketing alliance, and he's the one that introduced me to the certificate program. So that's how I found out about that. But as I was working across VMware and then across Atlassian, I noticed that the product marketing alliance is really ingrained in so many different product marketers' career paths.
Mm,
So that's where I was like, oh, this is like an actual like thing that people really care about and prioritize to get ahead in product marketing. And we even have people at Atlassian that go and speak at their conferences. So it's a really like creditable and reputable organization. So I couldn't recommend it enough. It's helped me meet so many people within Los Angeles, up in the Bay Area, but across the US really. So I'd recommend that if you're just looking to like set up coffee chats. They also have a lot of resources around like how to build a go-to-market campaign or templates
Yeah,
or things like that that you can also leverage in like your day job. So that's a really good one to start with.
cool. One last question, guys. Let us know, please. You have Denise, Nayeli, Mario. All right, I'm going to ask one last question here. I
Sure.
mean, this is important to me because I also have a background in marketing. So you said that you don't need a technical background to have a career in product marketing management and tech. So give me an example, like how similar is, I mean, obviously the strategy you create, the narratives, the solutions, how similar is that for a regular product versus a tech product? And can you give us an example of like the product that you work on at Atlassian
Yeah.
versus maybe another company's sort of.
Yeah. So at VMware, the two products that I worked on, it was a blockchain product and our application developer platform, very technical products. And that's where I was like, I don't know if I could do this. I feel like
Right.
I need to have a technical background. And what I found out is that because in tech, a lot of people actually don't come from a technical background, a lot of it is on the job training. And it's like hands-on training. So at most companies, they have like work streams or like training modules where you can actually learn like how to demo the product yourself. And they don't expect you to come in with like that understanding. They have like all that already built into the company.
Mhm.
And that's like part of your onboarding usually. A lot of companies too, they offer like certification reimbursement. So if you say like I when I joined the blockchain team, my boss said, go ahead and like take this online course through Berkeley where you can learn like blockchain 101. So he gave me the opportunity to have like more of like the technical acumen. I didn't have to be like an expert where I was like, you know, demoing in the product, but he just wanted me to have like that high level surface understanding of this is how the product works. This is what it means for our customers, and this is how you can create like marketing content for it. So I would say like especially at Atlassian too, our product is used across so many different industries. It's a little less technical than what I was
Yeah.
doing at VMware. So I feel like I'm in a sweet spot right now where I don't have to be, learning like all this technical acumen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have to use the products like day in and day out at the company. So we use Confluence, my
Mhm.
product, every single day to create our own marketing materials internally.
Gotcha.
So I'm getting like that hands-on training using our product every day, and then I can use that experience to tell customers this is how you would, do this in your own sort of campaigns or project plans because we do this at Atlassian too.
Mhm.
So
Gotcha.
I really like that change that I'm in now at this company.
Gotcha. So to add to that question, if you're a good marketer in a certain product or industry, you should be able to adjust to acclimate to tech, correct? I mean, because the
Yeah.
problem is the problem and the solution is the solution. So you have to create, the solution for that, regardless of what product it is, correct?
Right. So in tech, because there is like you're solving really complicated problems and also problems that haven't existed before at other companies. Like for example, AI. Everyone is so interested in how can you use AI at your company,
Yeah.
but no one actually knows how to use it. So we're also learning like on the fly as we go how to
Yeah.
use our own AI product. So we're using it every single day to like craft our own marketing campaigns and putting together target personas and like then we can say like, okay, this is how you're able to use the AI product because we've also used it ourselves.
Right.
So you really have to be like nimble, but I think it goes back to just being curious and asking a lot of good questions because that helps you um, really like go a longer way because that's really like a key a key skill to have in tech. Being
Yeah,
curious, being open-minded, and asking lots of good questions because more than not, a lot of people are also just figuring it out as we go. And,
correct.
you have to just be curious.
Yeah, without a doubt. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, if anybody else has a last minute question, we'll go ahead and take it. If not, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. So we're going to go ahead and pause for a few seconds here. Anybody else? Any takers? All righty, guys, let's give a round of applause to Mia. Mia, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. I learned a lot. Hopefully everybody else did as well. So guys, we're going to go ahead and cut off now, and we're going to see you about 3:30 for our next presentation. So we'll see you then. Mia, thank you again so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Take care.